We will now briefly look at the horizontal and vertical line tests. So before we start, if you get confused which is the horizontal line and which is the vertical line, always think, or what I always do is I always think that the sun comes up in the horizon. So if you see this picture where you see the sun rising or going down, then you'll see this line represents a horizontal line. So always think, if you want to quickly determine which one's the horizontal, just think that the sun goes up or down in the horizon. Alright, so the first test we're going to do is the vertical line test, and this one tests if the graph is a function or not. So what you do is you take a vertical line and you pull it across your graph. And if it only cuts it once, see, for every value it only cuts it once. If it only cuts it once, then the graph is a function. But if you look at this one over here, and you draw, or you take a vertical line and you pull it over your graph, then you can see it cuts it at two separate places. So then the graph is not a function. Now, just to do the vertical line test on all our popular function or our general functions, we've got the straight line. You can see that that's a function. And then we've got the parabola, definitely a function. Hyperbola, it only cuts it once. And similarly the exponential. So all of these pass the vertical line test. Then the horizontal line test, that is to determine if your function is a one-to-one or a many-to-one. Now, if you pull a horizontal line over your function and it only cuts it once, then it's a one-to-one function. For every one value of x, there is only one y value. So for every value of x, there's only one y value. That's a one-to-one function. But a many-to-one function, is if I take my horizontal line, I pull it over my function. You can see that for this y value, there's more than one x value. So that's a many-to-one function, is if your horizontal line cuts it more than once. Then just to see from our four main functions which one is a many-to-one or which ones are one-to-one. Starting with the straight line, we can see that is a one-to-one for all values. Then the parabola, you can see it cuts it more than once, so that's a many-to-one function. Then we have the hyperbola, it's also a one-to-one function. And finally the exponential is also a one-to-one function.